Control Arms welcomes the decision of your presidency to examine the role of industry in ATT implementation, and indeed it could be argued that this focus is overdue. It is critical that this examination has at its heart what industry can do for the ATT and not what the ATT can do for industry. Control Arms is concerned that the working paper as currently drafted may in essence be more about the latter than the former, that it focuses more on addressing industry's concerns about the ATT than on how industry can support states in achieving the treaty's objectives. So consider, for example, the initial framing question, and I quote, "What are the potential benefits for industry and private sector entities to engage with the ATT?" When we consider this issue, we see the opportunity for states and industry to explore how to strengthen ATT implementation, including through the application of existing rigorous human rights due diligence standards. The companies across the board, including those in the arms sector, already incorporate responsible business conduct policies and practices into many aspects of their operations, such as, for example, the application of environmental and labour standards, anti-corruption measures, and this applies not only to their own operations but also looking up and down the value chain. In addition to these widely accepted corporate responsibilities, specifically human rights due diligence is now also acknowledged as part of good business practice, including through international norms and standards such as the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights. Last year, this was explicitly and directly extended into the arms sector with the UN Working Group on Business and Human Rights information note entitled Responsible Business Conduct in the Arms Sector, Ensuring Business Practice in Line with the UN Guiding Principles. Despite the existence of these norms and guidance, we have so far seen little evidence of arms manufacturers explicitly extending their due diligence policies and practices to include the potential impact of the use of their products on human rights. This is also the case when we look beyond major arms manufacturers and to consider traders and other actors who play an important role in facilitating trade. We would like to see states parties encouraging industry to embrace and implement these measures, and therefore we contend that this should be the appropriate primary focus of the working paper. We welcome the intervention from Ireland, which we see as helpful in this regard. And we would also see this as speaking to the issues raised earlier by Liberia, for example. In further pursuit of this objective, Control Arms is therefore calling on states parties to endorse the UN Working Group on Business and Human Rights information note on responsible business conduct in the arms sector. And to conclude, we would also welcome an additional recommendation in the working paper to the effect that states parties will further explore the relationship between industry and human rights, including through the application of due diligence standards, in order to advance the ATT's purpose of reducing human suffering.